bestie.
What's up, sis? You're tuned into Big Sis Besties podcast.
Today is the day you have all been anticipating. The first episode of Big Sis Besties. On today's episode, we're introducing you to BSB. It's hostesses with the mostesses and what we represent.
The mission of our podcast is to be a safe space for anyone who needs a big sis, a bestie, someone they can go to for advice or just girl talk. In the upcoming episodes, we're going to have some interesting conversations about some big topics, such as mental health, family dynamics, relationships, financial hardships, and trauma.
I don't care what you identify as when it comes to race, gender, sexual preference, religion. We've all experienced the plethora of topics above. That's what unites us. Our experiences we endure through this thing called life. This is a platform of no judgment where we talk about things that are hard to discuss or those things that get swept under the rug. Disclaimer, we're not experts, just two besties sharing their real experiences and authentic selves. Most importantly, we want you to know you always have someone in your corner and you are never alone.
Okay, bestie, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
I thought you'd never ask. My name is Ashley, spelt the classic 90s way. Pronoun she, her. Virgo gang baby, September to be specific. And if you know, September Virgos do it better than you August Virgos. And yes, all the Virgo rumors are facts. The oldest daughter, grandchild, and oldest sister of 3 brothers and 1 sister. The first biracial child in my prejudiced New York Italian-Irish family, just as my father was the first in his English-German household. My mother Italian Catholic and my father atheist. Born in Florida, relocating to Charlotte at 5, relocating to New York at 11, and relocating to Charlotte at 13. I was fortunate enough to attend 9 schools in 3 states, which has made me so much of the person who I am today. Music soothes my soul and heals my heart while at the same time appreciating the calm and quietness in order to reground, refocus, and reconnect. I'm currently in social work, giving back to those in my community, but my dream career was to be a radio personality. A female Howard Stern of the 2000s, if I may. So Big Sis Besties is a dream come true. If I were asked to describe myself in 3 words, I would say spunky, charismatic, I got the Riz baby, and eccentric. I've always been unapologetically me, and that's all I can ever be. And I look forward to allowing you to know the real, raw Ashley. That's the rundown about me, sis. Why don't you tell them a little bit about you?
Hey y'all, I'm Alyssa. I'm 29. I was born in Ohio, but my family moved to Charlotte, North Carolina when I was just a baby. So I'm a pretty local Charlottean. I'm an esthetician by trade and small business owner. I'm very lucky to make a living by caring for people and making them look and feel beautiful. I'm a big sister and I have 1 younger brother. I'm the eldest child, only daughter, and granddaughter on my mom's side of the family, which is really the only side of the family matters. I'm estranged from my dad and his side of the family, but my brother's father raised both of us as his own. I'm Asian American and my family's from Laos. I'm very fortunate to have a huge, diverse family that's from all over the world and lives all over the continent, and I think that's influenced a lot of who I am. I pride myself on trying to be a genuinely good person, good friend, and good partner, and I would say I have a very laid-back personality. I'm generally very calm-natured. I cope with life through comedy and a sense of optimistic realism. I'm a 90s baby and Pisces, so I've always been very intuitive and an extremely empathetic person. I'm a creative and I love working with my hands. I love traveling, especially abroad, and I'm a huge animal lover. Anything with fur, really. I'm a cat and a dog person. My hobbies include reading and listening to music. I love movies and rewatching classics, binging the same 3 comfort shows I have, and I love audiobooks and podcasts, so I'm so excited to be creating this podcast for y'all. The concept of the show literally came to me in a dream, and there's no one I'd rather be manifesting it with than my best friend.
So, Ashley, do you want to tell them how we became best friends?
All right. Now, are you sure you want me to tell them? about how we became friends?
Yeah, I would love to hear your perspective.
All right. Well, I definitely did not wake up on June 13th, 2013 and think, I'm just going to meet the best friend of the rest of my life. So I was supposed to link with the homies, and they were at a graduation at the time, and I just kept thinking to myself, who could be graduating? Like, it's 2013. We've been out. I was the last one, 2009. So thinking, okay. So I pull up to the crib after everybody gets back, and there you are.
Full blown graduation party. Yeah.
There you are.
From across
like a
the
halo around your head. Like you were just sent from heaven.
I don't know about all that, but it was a really special day, just naturally because it was the graduation. But it was funny though, because as soon as you walked in the room, I was like, who is that? I knew also instantly, like, that girl's gonna be my best friend. It was probably the like hot pink magenta hair from across the room.
That unit you had yourself though,
okay.
Fresh off the press, honey, wet and wavy.
Yes.
Yes.
What a time.
Yeah. So I mean that's the quick version of the day that we met, and pretty much from there it was history.
Yeah,
History.
I mean, just just friend of a friend. It's funny how the things that connect us through, time. But I think that was definitely a very special day. And like I said, instantly we had a bond and a connection. I think your vibe spoke for itself. It's something that we shared immediately was, just a good vibe, good energy,
Big sis energy.
Yeah, it was. It was very big sis energy. We clicked immediately about that. We clicked about things.
A lot of things, yeah.
Just,
even with the age gap we had.
Right. Yeah, that we still do have.
It didn't seem like that big because of the soul that you have. It's aged.
A very old soul, yeah. Been here a few times. And I think that was also the older sister aspect too, like, just being more mature than my age itself. Because I do feel like at first you were kind of like, who are these kids?
I was.
All my other friends there,
stunned.
we had all graduated that day. Now we're all best friends still, over a decade later. And I think it's because you can always tell, like, you can see people for who they are. You can see, like, kind of that, their soul, and I just knew immediately we're a good soul. We had good vibes. I think we connected because we were meant to.
Yes.
At that point in our life.
Definitely soul sisters, and it didn't take long. Like we stated, we bonded on so many things, on so many levels, even with the 4 years that we had between us, and so many things that had happened in just 4 years of me being out of high school. So I definitely was not expecting you, but you definitely came at a time that I definitely needed a soul sister.
Absolutely. And I think that just speaks volumes of, like, people fall into our life for a reason, or sometimes a season, or sometimes a lesson. And when we became close at that time in our lives, I was 18, 19, you were 21, 22. Yeah, that's a very formidable time in a young person's life, becoming a young adult. And I think we became close because we were going through it.
Not only was I becoming a young adult, I was also becoming a sister again. Not even for the last time, Right. So it was definitely a weird place.
Just moved back home to Charlotte.
Yep, just moved back from Florida. Have these new little brothers, and still trying to heal from those things I wasn't healed from. Was definitely a transition, but I almost went into like mom mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's another thing that you understand because you played that role with your sibling.
Yeah, we bonded on that for sure because we do have both such a big age gap.
Yes.
with our siblings, your brother and my brother are literally born the same year, like months apart. And I mean, obviously, if I'm much older than my brother, then you're much older than your brother.
I'm decades older, like with both of them. One decade and 2 decades. So it definitely is a struggle, but I'm made for this. So
yeah, I think it's just, sometimes it's a role you get put into. And I think also it's so clear when you meet someone who has had that shared experience with you. It's so funny. I was just thinking about, as we were doing this podcast, how many of my friends are also big sisters or sisters, or it's just it's a trait that you carry. And I could tell that you had this like second mom mentality, and that, you were so used to caring for people, and so was I. But I also saw that you needed that care as well, and and we needed it for each other, because I was also like going through a really tough time at that time in my life. I was moving out on my own. I was moving out of a toxic situation. And like we confided in each other, because it's really something that you crave when you don't have it.
It's absolutely
is to feel vulnerable and not judged and have a safe space. And we were that for each other.
Which was weird for me, because I didn't really open up to many people due to the fact that people use those harsh things that you're being open and honest and vulnerable about against you.
Yeah.
So I tended to be very guarded, but so were you in a sense.
Yeah.
But it took us both lowering our guards at the same time to make us feel comfortable enough to be like, yo, she is not malice. She's not mean. She's not one of those, and you can just feel that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we just rode out from there.
Yeah. I would say like something that also really connected us was that kind of like trauma bond. Sadly, but we all have traumas in our past and things that we go through in life, but I think we are so blessed and fortunate to have found each other and be able to share those things and rely on those things. And even, you were a couple years older than me, but I felt like we were on a very similar walk in life, even though we are very different people. I would argue even that we're like kind of very opposite in most ways.
We definitely are night and day, but that's our personality.
Right, our personality.
When it comes to our dynamic, our culture is different but similar in the aspect as you don't have to be a boy to be the oldest and be the house,
right?
In charge of the house.
Yeah, we did both grow up with like very matriarchal kind of ethnic families. We both carried that load of being like a second mom. We both understood that sometimes you sacrifice for the people you care about. And I think it was just so nice that we instantly thought, hey, I'm choosing this person to rely on, to trust in, because I knew right away I could trust you. And I think also that whole like chosen family aspect that we've talked about through the years is like we really did choose each other, continue to choose each other, continue to put effort in to all the aspects of each other, the beautiful parts and the ugly parts, and to like be seen fully without the fear of judgment. That is truly like that's love, and that's our best friendship, and that's like just unconditional appreciation of each other in the most authentic way.
Yeah, and through the years it has absolutely shown. Right in the beginning, you pulled up for me in a way that nobody had in a financial aspect, where it's like, I barely even know you. Why would I even think to help you? But that wasn't you at all. So I knew within the first few weeks that you were different, and this is someone that I want to put my time into. And here we are going into our 11th year.
Yeah. Which is crazy because we're getting old. But I think also the time, too, in which we met. Like, I know we always talk about kind of the divine timing, but, like, had we met each other later or earlier, I don't know if it would have happened exactly the same way. If we were more adults versus right where we met was exactly where we needed to be.
Because you moved out a few months, not too many months after, because then we both had our own place.
Right.
So if that would have been, we wouldn't have had those times of sleepover. You know, it's different when you sleep in your own place.
Yeah, for sure.
I was where I was, and you were where you were, and I was blindsided by the situation that I was put in, and you weren't blindsided, but your situation you were trying to get out of. So if we didn't have those nights on the blow-up bed in the living room, in the dining room, if we didn't have
hanging
those
curtains in the living room,
sewing pink curtains to put them up for the divide, you know, like, and if we didn't have those nights on the couch or on the trundle bed upstairs, that vulnerability may not have been there.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It was almost like we went back to that little girl, middle school, high school.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing, because a lot of people in this life don't get that. You know, a lot of people walk through life alone, unfortunately, and I think it's so important to find your people. And I think that's a big reason why we created this podcast, was not only to kind of, you know, chit chat and talk our stuff, but like to kind of reach out to other people, to also extend the safe space that we have, to open up our chosen family, you know, be a best friend to someone who needs a best friend. But I think the relationship we've cultivated is a very beautiful thing. It's taken a lot of work and time and effort, but I mean, you're worth it, you know. Absolutely. And I'm so proud of you through this relationship, to watch you have evolved and grown. I think if I had to like describe Ashley, I know she kind of talked about herself in the beginning there, but if I had to talk about Ashley and describe her in a nutshell, I would say she is, I mean, like a beacon of light. You know, she's bright and loud and bubbly, and in all those words at the same time. She's also like very introspective and very thoughtful. She's one of the most thoughtful and thorough people I've ever met. She's so nurturing and has this like deep maternal sense to like love, and it's the fiercest, most passionate, genuine love in any way that she gives it. You should be so fortunate to receive. If to know her is to love her. And I think also to watch you grow from who I met as a young woman to see what you had been through in life, because I always say you should have had your own reality show, because that shit is crazy. You know, and we laugh, but it's a lot. It's, you know, and we look forward to sharing these stories and experiences with you guys, but you know, to know you, to know what you've been through, to know that you are still such a beam of light to everybody that we know, is one of my greatest prides.
Well, I think you must have read my diary journal about you last night, because that word for word is everything I feel about you. From the day that I met you and I heard that laugh in that black dress with that gray cap.
Yeah, my silver cap and gown.
You just, like I said, you radiated light. Like there was a halo over you, and you were an angel. Everything that I drive to be as far as personality and character, you complete me. When it comes to the daintiness that I don't have, or the you know, the masculinity that you may not have, I come to you with anything.
We balance each other out.
Yeah, you have just been a breath of fresh air through this whole experience. So many things that we have encountered together that we never even thought we would have to go through. Down to even, you know, the pandemic.
Yeah. What a time.
Right. So I thank you for being who you are in my life, who you are in my siblings' life. Being big sis is a state of mind, you know, and you definitely have that. And I've seen it since the day I looked into your eyes. So I appreciate you for being always you and never anyone else, and staying true.
Oh, emotional. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, you know, we're not blood, but we have, that's never even been like an issue with us. You know, the age gaps, all the things that could tear between us Because, I mean, I've seen some long-term friendships go bad. I know you have, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we'll have a whole episode about that.
We do.
But we, like I said, choose to continue to work on our relationship together and choose each other as family. And, like, your family is my family, vice versa.
And
we've all had experiences, like, with each other's family as, like, a extension for each other of our own families. But I think that it's a beautiful thing. I mean, to just feel seen and understood, accepted into your family as well is, something I really appreciate.
They look at you as a daughter, everybody.
Yeah, I love Melissa. Shout out to her. Shout out to little bald-headed baby. It's his birthday today. I remember the first time that I babysat your brother. I remember the first time that your brother and my brother hung out. They're totally opposite also. It's just... But
wrestling was something that they had in common.
Yeah,
for a short
two,
period.
like, wild young little boys. But, it's just so interesting how different two people can be. Because, like I said, like, we kind of are opposites. We're very yin and yang. You complete me, like, the parts of myself that I feel like I lack that you make up for, and vice versa. I think it's just so interesting how we can have those different aspects of us that we express, but still have so many commonalities that we bond on, that we relate to. And I think when you look around at the people around you and you realize that we're all just people that have been through some things, it allows you to be more empathetic, allows you to understand more of people's life, and be more accepting. Because I think it's important to build community.
It is. And communication is definitely hard, but it is definitely vital in any relationship. I think if our communication hadn't been so open throughout all of these stages and transitions in our life, we could have fallen off. If we weren't comfortable enough to check you or check me or have a sit down and uncomfortable talk, we wouldn't be recording today. We wouldn't be here because we would have allowed things to go assumed. We would have just moved this way, moved that way. So I would definitely say that because we put in that communication, the effort to continue to choose one another, that's how we're able to still be here.
Yeah, it's deep work, honestly. I mean, we've worked deeply on ourselves as individuals, as women, as adults who have been through things when they were younger. But I think also in our friendship, we've worked through things because we value each other more than any petty disagreement we could have ever had. Nothing we've ever been through has been worth enough to not have each other.
Lose one another.
So,
and I've lost friends, but that's because they chose. Really, it takes a while for me to really realize, like, okay, you're no good. Just like in a relationship, friendships are harder. But when you remove yourself, then that is making it easy for me
to lose. Yeah, I agree. I think it's really about who you can have a bad time with and get through the hard times with, because you can have a good time with anybody. And, through the goods and the bad, the ups and downs, having someone there for you that you can lean on, that you can trust, that you can speak to about the things that maybe you feel ashamed of or guilty about or whatever, and not be judged. I think that's what's important. I think that's what being a big sis is about.
I agree. To me, being big sis is really a state of mind. It's a mentality. You have it or you don't. It's something that you're born with, It really does go beyond blood, as we've been talking about this entire episode. I have been big sis to those that I have no blood relation at all to, and it really is an honor to be able to be confided in that way, to be able to guide in that manner, to lead those who need leadership. Hoping to be that person that you needed when you were younger, because we all could definitely use a big sis. I did not have that growing up. I had my aunt, my mom, but everybody needs that person that can give them advice and guide them, not like a mom, not with that bias of, I just want you to do the right thing, of course, but if you are going to make mistakes, these are the things to look out for so you're at least conscious of the consequences of your decisions. So I think that I definitely was made for this life. It has not been the easiest. Boys are definitely not the easiest, but I am honored to walk through life with them, guiding and leading, and all of those people who have allowed me to do such in their lives as well.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point too, is unlike a mother or a parent, you know, a sister is someone who walks beside you, or even a best friend, someone who walks through life with you, beside you, going through things as you're going through things. Not like, and I told you so way, but like, hey man, I've experienced this. I'm trying to save you the grief. I think that's the purpose of us being here today, is to talk with you guys, to share our stories, to share stories of some of our guests and experiences. We're going to be talking about some big topics, and even next episode we're going to really get into and dive a little deeper more into being the big sister or the eldest and being parentified as children, some of the stereotypes and pros and cons of that.
Big age gaps, being the practiced child and moving out young, having sisters versus having brothers, raising brothers versus raising sisters, the transition from being the only child.
And we're also going to really get into hyper independence and perfectionism and letting people down, these personality traits that we've almost kind of adapted as the position that we grew up within our family dynamic. So yeah, if you guys have questions, or if you have stories that you want to share, please reach out to us, because we want to share them and we want to build a community with you guys. We want it to almost be a very interactive platform.
And we want to go ahead and talk about the hits and misses of the week, which will be basically Alyssa and I's positive and maybe not so positive experiences.
Just a little summary of our week.
Yeah.
You know?
This week for me, my miss was
it all that OT?
Oh yeah, actually, you know what, you're right. My miss is having to do mandatory overtime right now at my job, 20 hours a month. So thank you, I forgot it starts today. How could I forget? And my hits was being able to see my family this weekend. I went to help my mom move. So that was nice to be able to take them out to brunch for Mother's Day a week early and all
sweet.
of that. But what about for you?
See my mom this weekend too. Well, firstly, I would like to say that I am proud of you, because, you know, I remember when you told me that you were getting a little overwhelmed by the like changes in your job and like all the stress from work and taking some like mental health days for yourself. I'm very proud of you for doing that. Because I mean,
be there.
Exactly, because you got to take the time for yourself, and you know, maybe Ashley a couple years ago wouldn't have done that, so I admire that. My hits and misses this week. My miss is I'm recovering from a sinus infection. I'm not 100%. I hope that you guys don't hear me and think that this is always what I sound like, but I'm on the mend, so I guess that's positive. But yeah, it's been rough. Jonathan was sick, then I was sick, and it was just a mess. And then the hit this week, I would say, I've just, you know, I'm really blessed. I've had a great week. I think, you know, I've been busy at work, blessed to be busy. I do feel a little spread thin between work and all that, but I'm excited to, you know, be celebrating 1 year of business this past month. Yeah. And
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That was the big hit, you know, just a year of business, a year of growth, busy month. So blessed.
Well, we want to know your hits and misses for the week also, so please share that with us.
And we look forward to seeing you guys next episode. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Till next time.
All right, sis. Go like, follow, and share both our Facebook and Instagram at Big Sis Besties Podcast. Don't forget to turn on all notifications so you don't miss any tea. All links are in the description.
Please be sure to email any questions or inquiries to bigsisbestiespodcast@gmail.com. If you enjoyed the show as much as we hope you did, please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Facebook. Tune in every other Friday for the latest episodes.
Thank you all for joining us this week on Big Sis Besties. It's been real.